Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today on Masechtas Megillah daf Chav Ches. We are going to begin on the very bottom of Chav Zayin Beis, the last line. Shol Tamidavis Rab Preda. They asked Rab Preda, "B'meharachta yomim? How come you lived a long life?" Or Mohem, "Miyomai in all my life, all my days, lo kidmani adam beis medrash. No one ever beat me to the beis medrash. I got there before everyone else." Chav Ches Amud Aleph. V'lo birachti lifnei kohen, and I never took a bracha in front of a kohen. Rashi says besuda lifnei kohen, because it says v'kudashtai the whole davar shebkedusha livchos rishon levarach rishon. The kohen should always go first. I always made sure he received that honor. V'lo yachalti mebehema shel horma matnoiseha, and I never ate from an animal in which the matanos were not separated. You can't eat from such food. If anyone does eat from this, it has the same din as like eating tevel. The halach is not like that. Just says I didn't make a brach before a kohen. Is that good? If let's say any Talmud Chacham that's mavarich in front of even a kohen gadol am haaretz, that Talmud Chacham is chai misa. Shenamar, it says kol misanai lo havi moves al tirki misanai ela masniai. Says Rashi, shigarmin livnei adam l'sanoto, because you're causing people to cause hatred. Sharoa Talmud Chacham shuffle livnei am haaretz. If a Talmud Chacham looks lower in front of the eyes of am haaretz, so you have to actually have nachas ruach b'tayra. So if you have an am haaretz, you should not allow him to go first. So kikar ihu b'shavin. It means that when they were of equal level, he didn't take the honor. But if certainly there was a kohen who was of less stature, then he would take the kibud. Shol talmidim Rabbi Nechunya ben Akana b'maharachti yomim. How did you have a long life? So Amalhem Yomai lo niskabadati b'kaloin chaverai. I never derived any pleasure or honor when it came to the shame of my friend. But also al mitasi kol chaverai. I never went on my bed the curse of my friends. Vatran b'mamoini hayisi. I was always generous with my money. V'lo niskabadati b'kaloin chaver. What did that mean? Kihad Rav Huna Dari Mara Kisvei, that he carried a spade on his shoulders. Also Rav Chana bar Chaniloi v'kad Dari Minei. So he went up to him and he basically wanted to borrow it. Armalei Iragilas did to basically carry it for him. Iragilas did Doris b'Mosayach Dari. If this is what you're normal custom to doing, then you can do so. V'ilo is siyakri anab zelusa didach lo nichli. So even though he wanted to take it away from him, he said, but if you're not normally walking around with this, I'm not going to allow your disgrace to be my honor to be due to your being embarrassed. But also mitasa kolas chaver kihada mar zutra kihavi sol kapuri. When he went to bed, any person who caused me any problems, he asked for forgiveness. So he never went to bed angry. He was generous. Eiyov himself was also very generous with his money. When he gave money to a storekeeper, from that which was his own. So asu gavze. Rashi doesn't say what that is. For kamachule, so he went and he was like pointing. So he went up. Yosef Aresha Didika went on top of a tree. Armalei Rabbi im nemar keves loman nemar echad. So how come it says keves echad? Keves is one. So Armalhu Sumarabananhu. Shavkuhu, leave him alone. So Armalei echad miyuchad shibe'edroi. When it says echad, it means the one which is the choicest, best of the animals. So once he realized he was a Talmud Chacham, that he asked this question, he said, "Miyomai lo kibalti matanais." He says, I never accepted gifts. I never stood on my honor. He said I was generous with my money. When he was given gifts, he didn't take them. When he was invited, he never went. He said, don't you want me to live? Someone who hates gifts will live. Rav Zera ki havi mishadule mebenasi, when he would take a gift from the benasi, he didn't take it. However, ki havi mizamnule azul, when he was invited to go to their house to eat, he did go. Omar, he said, isyakuri demisiakri bi. They're doing it to honor me. Then therefore it's acceptable. If you're forgiving, then Hashem will be forgiving. Shol Rabbi as Rabbi Shobin Karcha. How'd you have a long life? What, you're upset that I'm alive? Like, why are you asking me this? No, Rabbi, I want to know, what can I do? I never looked at a wicked person's face. But we're not from the face of Yehoshaphat, and I say, so Rashi says, Elisha Omer Cain Yehoram. Elisha was saying this, that he never looked at the face of a Rasha. Rabbi Lezer Omer Ein of Kehos. Actually, your eyes will become weakened. Shnemar Mehiki Zakin Yitzchak V'Techiena Ein of Mirois. That Yitzchak was not able to see. Mishum Destakel Esav Rash, because he looked at Esav, so therefore it affected his eyes. That's what caused it. Rabbi Yitzchak he closed headed. The curse of a simple person even should not be light in your eyes. Shahari Avimelech kiles Sarah. Avimelech cursed Sarah. Niskaim Zara. Shenamar Hinuloch Ksus. So he gave this curse. There should be a covering of your eyes. So Altir Ksus El Ksias Inayim. Like then your eyes should be basically blinded. So your answer is Hava Hagarmele. They both were a cause. So it was because he stared at his son Esav, and also because of the kloa of Avimelech to him, which is question 11. Kehu Eine Yitzchak. So it's that. Of course, we also have the famous Gemara, the famous Medrash, I guess, about the tears of the Malach that hit the eyes of Esav. Okay, that was question 11. Fine. Rabbi Omer Mahacha Seis Penei Rasha Lo Tov. B'shas B'tirasai, and when he died, Amalei Rabbi Bercheni, give me a blessing. Amalei Hi Ratzon Shetakil Chatzi Yomai. You should live half of my life. L'kulo, not as many years as you. Amal Haboim Acharecha, the ones that come after you, Behema Yiru, an animal shall graze. Which perhaps what that's coming to tell you is that after living a long many years, may not necessarily be such a bracha. Avua bar ihi uminyamin bar ihi chad armer teisi li deloy stakli bekuti. You should come to me because I'm greater, because I never looked at the face of a kuti. Chad armer teisi li deloy avdi shutvas bahadikuti. I never did a partnership with them. I never got angry in my house. And I never showed a lack of respect to someone who's greater than me. I never had Torah thoughts in a dirty alleyway. You would never find me without Torah tefillin on. I never slept in the base medrash. And I never rejoiced over the downfall of my friend. There's different gears over here. So Rashi says Afil oisekino, a nickname shemasuder, which he was used to. Uvalo mishpachto shem daifihu. If it was some type of like not nice name, he did not allow it to be used. He never said it. Va'odam Rabbi Huda Beis Achneses shechariv. If you have a Beis Achneses which was destroyed, so the Mishnah says, Ein maspidin betocho. You're not allowed to do a hesped eulogy in it. The ein mashpilin betocho chavolim, and you cannot put ropes there. It says Rashi b'huadin l'chol malachos. You can't do any work there. Fine. The ein porsin l'seichem tzudos. You can't put traps in there. The ein sheichten al gago pears. You can't put fruits on the top of its roof to dry. The ein oisin oisa kapandri. You can't make it into a short cut. Shnemar v'hashi mosi es mikdashechem. So these are all different things you cannot do. It tells us that even though it's shemeimin, even though it's destroyed, it still has sanctity. Let's say grass is growing, don't rip it out, says Rashi. Let the grass continue to grow. People who see this growing, bin Yaso, and they'll remember the time in which it was built, and they'll ask for Rachamim, and then hopefully it'll be built to the way it was originally. Tanaban. But the Kinesios enu hagmehem kolos roish. In a shul you cannot have any lightheadedness. In oichan mehen, in shaisim mehen, you're not to eat or drink in a shul. As we continue to chaf ches omid beis. The ein neosin bahen, says Rashi. The ein miskadshin l'toicha. You can't like beautify yourself there in metalin sham, like walking around. You can't go there to get out of the heat and enjoy the cool air because it's pouring out. Hesped shel yachid, a person should not do a eulogy for an individual. You can read and learn Torah there. If it's a hefsed shel rabbim, which a lot of shuls, if it's let's say shul president or the shul rabbi that dies, so you can do a hesped in the shul. Rabbi Huda, when do we say they have to be mechabed in this way? Is dafka be yeshuvin when it's all a built shul. Of a b'churban, when it's already destroyed, leave it alone. The oil in behenatzav, like grass grow. Don't rip it out. Who mentioned grass? You're supposed to sweep it up. Like clean it. Make sure that it's a very beautiful, clean, pristine building, which no grass, no mold is going to grow. Rabbi Huda must be yeshivun of a b'chorbanon manichan lalos lehen lalos behen lalos all behemotzavim will yitlish nefesh. So in that case, we allow it to grow because we want people to feel bad, and then hopefully they'll rebuild the whole shul. Ravasi batikanesos shibabavel al tanai hein oisin. Those shuls were built al tanai, says Rashi. Almanas shishtam shebehen, that people could use it. And therefore, if it was built al tanai, that you could eat there or do different things there, so it's acceptable. The Aval Pekin, nonetheless, inohanem kalos roish. You still can't have kalos roish. Umaynihu hesh boinais. You can't just start doing your business matters there. If let's say you have a shul, that's what you do. You end up talking about business. Malinin boy as a mace. So you could accompany the mace. Malinin sakadan. What does that mean? It's bad enough. What else you're doing there? So el l'soif shalina bo mace mitzvah, and eventually you'll end up being malava mace mitzvah there. It says Rashi shemusu be'ir mesim she'in behem koivin. You're going to end up having a play. There's such a devastation in that city. There's going to be dead people that won't have anyone to bury them. So again, the idea is to treat the shul with great levels of holiness and sanctity. They know oisin man amarav chachamim v'talmideihem mutarin. When it comes to them, they are allowed to do certain things in that shul. Rabbanan, base to the Rabbanan. The base of the Rabban says Rashi, Lamat Karin Bati Midrashas Be Rabbanan Lefi Shabesim Hu Lachol Davar. It's like it's their house because they're there all the time, so therefore they can do things because that's where they're always there. They ask the question, Asa Zilcha Lamitra. Let's say it starts to rain. Alabe Kanista, can you go into the shul? So Amri Haide Alina Alabe Kanista, Lamishum Mitra, they're not going because of shul, because of the rain. El Mishum de Shmaisa Siluta Kiyama de Istana. The reason is they're going Bishmaisa to learn, and they wanted clearness just like such a clear day. It says Rashi, Lamishom Mitra, Shiyagin Aleinu, they should protect us, Min Geshamim, Shim Lo Hayinu Aiskin, Bishmaisa Lo Hayinu Nichnasim, that if we weren't learning, we wouldn't have gone in. No, we're going in to learn anyway. It says Rashi, Siluta Da Silula Uyeshevesh, Shim Torid Bekul Machshava. So they're going in there, but they're not going in there for the sake of just escaping the rain. They're going to learn Torah. Armuli Ravacha Bereda Rebel Ravashi. Itztrach Leinish Lamikri Gavra Mekanistav. Let's say you need to get someone from the shul or the base medrash. What are you supposed to do? Because you're not supposed to just go in there for no good reason. Armuli Isim Rabbanan who Lema Hilchasa. So if you're a Rabbanan, at least say halacha before you get them. So you go in there at least for Torah purposes of sorts. V'itanahu lema masnesin, v'ikarihu lema psuka, v'lo. Let's say you don't know any psukim. Lema le'anuka. Ask the kid, emli psuka. Tell me your pasuk. Hinami nishe porta v'nekum. We sit there for a short amount of time and then get up. Mafsidin behen hefsid shel rabim. So heichidam hefsid of the rabim. What type of hefsid is allowed in a shul? That's a hesped of Rabbim. So Machva Rav Chisda Gain have stated the Koi Bei Rav Sheshes. Machva Rav Sheshes Gain have stated the Koi Bei Rav Chisda. So they're pointing at each other. Obviously, they're showing the chashivas of each other. They're also saying that if you die, this is where you're going to end up having hesped. So Rafram Aspida Lekalte Bekanista. So they had a hesped in the shul. Because of my honor, Udemisa Asukul Yalma. Everyone's going to come. Rav Zera Safti Lahum Rabbanan, Bebekanista. He had a hesped in the shul. Let it be. Maybe they're going to come because of my honor. Imisham Yikardide Demisa Asukul Yalma. Everyone's going to come. Reish Lakish Safti Lahu Sumer Rabbanan Deshchiach Ba'ard Israel. He used to constantly go to Israel. The Habitani Hilchasa B'Chafdal Shurata. That he was teaching with 24 rows of Talmidim. Omer Vai Chasra Ara the Israel Gavaraba. It's what a shame that Eretz Israel lost such a great person. The Huda Habitani Hilchasa Sifra V'Sifri V'Tosefta. The person who knew tremendous amount of Torah. Shachim and he died. Also the Yarmali Rab Nachman Lispede Mar. Please give him a hesped. So I'm right. How am I supposed to give him a hesped? Heitzanda de Moli Sifri de Chaser. So he said, look at this again. This person that we lost. This Rashi Eno Ella Kasal. He's like a basket. Shimiluhu Svarm. It's filled with books. Then Maven Ma Betocha. It doesn't understand what's in it. Av Shaina Halachas Lo Shimish Tamid Chacham L'Mulbid Shavinu Tami Mishnah. Okay, basically. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he learns. He just is able to ramble off a bunch of things, but he doesn't actually understand the depths of Torah. Okay. The Moli Sifrei de Chaser. Like a basket filled of books we lost. Tani, which obviously not the nicest thing to say. Tana Chazim Ma Bain Tekifei de Arad Israel Chasidi de Bavel. Fine. So we can see the difference between those individuals. Tan Hassam. So we learned a person who wants to use the tag, or actually the Keser Torah Cholov. You're going to be removed from the world if you end up using it for your own benefit. This is someone who's mishtamish, someone who learns halachos. Kisur shel Torah v'yomer ula v'shtamish inish b'man detani arba v'lo l'shtamish b'man detani arba. Ki had Reish Lakish havi azal b'orch. He was on the road. Mata orka madamaya. So he came across this water. Asa hu gavra. So a person came. Arkave aksife. He put him on his shoulders. V'kam mavrei. He traveled. He went from one side of the river to the next. Armalei Karis. Do you know how to read? Armalei Karina. Tanis. So he asked the guy who was carrying him, do you know how to learn? Tanina. Arba Sidre Mishnah. Armalei Basaltalacha Arba Turi. Like these 4 mountains. The Tais Bar Lakish Kisveich, and I'm on your shoulders. So he actually, Rish Lakish, felt bad that he was being carried by someone who himself was the Talmud Chacham. So Shadi Bar Lakish B'Maya. So he was put into the water. Ramelhu Nichli Diashmiina Nomar Yihachi Gomer Mini Hamilsa Diamaram Zera Benos Israel Hain Hachmira Al Atzmin Shefil Rois Tipas Dam Kacharda Yeshavas Alev Shivas Nakim, which is considered to be a halacha psuka, very simple law, that the women were very makbid that even if they saw only the size of dam, like a mustard seed, they would sit zayin nakim. Tana Demeiliyahu Kol Shana Halachas Muftachos Mahaba, as it's a very famous expression that we say on Shabbos davening. So anyone who learns halachos all the time is guaranteed a portion of what to come. Shneimar halichos olam olah tir halichos ela halachos. I'm going to stop there. Let's see a couple questions. Ha'im mutar lasos hesped b'beis hachnesas. So he said a hesped shel yachid is aser, hesped shel rabim is mutar. That was question 12. Okay. TA 16. Ha'im mutar lahesped b'beis hachnesas. Probably the same question. Hesped yachid aser the rabim shari. That was TA 16. Mamish, the exact same question. TA 16 and TB 19. TB 19. Be'elu min kaimos aser lilkoit at savim. Where are you not allowed to gather grass? And it says ha'achil, for it to be eaten. So one is we said is in the beis hachneses, and the other answer brought down over here is in a beis hakvaros. Also in a cemetery, also it needs to let it grow because of agmas nefesh adkan.